Welcome to you. Welcome to you, yeah. Step right up, come see the show. Welcome to you, be you live. No, no, do da 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 do da. No, no, do da 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 do. Welcome to do da 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 do.
Yeah. Magic in motion, so on display. You be you live, starts today. Come feel the rhythm, come catch the vibe. Young man, you there, wanna come inside.
Welcome to you. Be you live. Oh, you'll be with the dreams alive.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, I had the proud pleasure of ending my week Friday night with the amazing Soulman Live. It was an experience so unique, so different that I still can't describe how deeply it moved me. I am someone who's never been celebrated, and for that, soul man, I thank you. But tonight, we're not ending our week, we're beginning our week. It's Sunday, it's 4 p.m. It's time to wind down and lift up. Tonight is not about soul man, that's a lifestyle. Tonight we travel a journey you'll never forget. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sigrid de Kaste.
If it's alive, you don't strive. Don't lie, you don't fight. You do right. You be you like you're alive. Oh, come alive. It's come alive. Come alive. We don't change tricks, we bring them alive. Bring them alive. Do da 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 do da.
We bend the rules like we bend the light. Turn the spark in our hearts to a flame on sight. Sigrid de Kaste got that soulful flair. William Michelle, call him Bill if you dare. Real ones rise when the fake ones fade. We ain't waiting for a lane, we pave the parade.
This is your life. You don't survive. You thrive. You thrive. You thrive. You be a part of you. You be you like come alive. Oh, come alive. Come alive. We don't chase dreams. We bring them to life. Hey, this is your life. Hey, yeah, yeah. This is your life.
Hey, everyone, this is UBU Live. My name is William Rochelle, but you and only you can call me Bill. And I am excited to be here with Sigrid. Sigrid, welcome to UBU Live for the first time ever. How are you
Hello,
today?
hello. It's wonderful to be here. Thank you from sunny, not yet sunny, Queensland and Australia.
Oh my God, I felt so bad earlier today when I was like, oh, we'll be on in an hour. And you're like, yeah, it's still dark outside. I need my coffee. So I went and brewed myself some. Are you ready to go?
I'm ready to go. I've had my coffee. Thank you.
Perfect. So before we get started, I really have to say to Soul Man, Aaron Gibson, I was on a show on Friday, and I don't know if you even noticed in the intro, but I put it in the intro that, I ended my Friday with an Aaron Gibson Soul Man wind down, and I'm starting my Sunday with Sigrid. And what that means is that I ended my week on top. Woohoo! And I am starting my week on the top with Miss Sigrid. So I appreciate that. Aaron, the other thing I want to tell you is that I am an introvert. So a lot of times when I'm in places, people are like, did you have fun? And I'm like, I had such a great time. but I'm more of an observer, Sigrid. And so people don't understand that because I'm like, there's so much going on. I, in fact, have gone to concerts. Uh, I'll say Janet Jackson because I love her. And people were like, "You didn't move the entire time, but you say you love Janet Jackson." I, but I was so in awe because I'm looking at the pyrotechnics and the choreography, and then how the stage is designed. I get into all those technical issues, so I get in my head when I'm watching stuff. So enough about me, because we can go on all day about me, and that is really rude um, for me to invite you on and talk about me. So enough about me. Sigrid, what do you think about me?
I think you are exceptionally different.
Did you say I'm different?
Yes, yes. Well, you put yourself out there, even though you're confessing to be an introvert, you still get out there. And I think that is fantastic. Overcoming what we feel we don't like or can't do is the thing for life in my world.
Absolutely. And what's really weird, and in the beginning, I told you I don't know what direction our conversation is going to go because I let the energy kind of uh, flow the direction of the conversation. However, there are specific topics that we're going to talk about, which will be Substack, YouTube, um, my podcast, the work that you're doing. Um, but it takes a lot of energy for me to become what you're seeing, the extroverted type of person. But in all honesty, I am good to go with my two dogs and my cup of coffee or a glass of wine, and block everything out. Um, but you have such a interesting history. But what is sticky belt marketing?
That is a really great question, because I realized only a long time after I named my business that people in the US don't know that word as well as we do know it here in Australia. Sticky beak means to be very nosy, to stick your beak into other people's business, which is what I was doing with my marketing agency, finding out what businesses were doing or lacking of doing so that their marketing wasn't working. So the name Sticky Beak really means get into it, find out what's going on, get into the deeper layers to know everything about the person where you're sticking your beak into.
So, who are you?
I'm a very nosy person. I want to know everything.
I love that. Okay. So you and I, first, you're my best friend. So that's one thing that we're going to say. I love nosy people. But really, and I am going to preface this with however you want to define that question, because it's such a broad question, right? And so, I'm a grandfather, right? That's how I want to be known, right? But who is Sigrid?
I haven't really thought about that, Bill, tell you the truth. I haven't really thought, who am I? I definitely ask a lot of questions. I always have done that. I remember way back, my dad telling me one day, "You never stop asking questions, do you?" And from then on, I thought, is that a bad thing? But I kept asking questions because I want to know things. So I'm a very curious person. Maybe that's who I am, a very curious person.
Okay, perfect. What I found interesting about your answer is I'm of a certain age, and I still don't know the answer to that question myself. And the minute I think to myself, I figured me out, then something changes. And because the world is always changing. And so our thoughts and our ideas, or what we perceived in the beginning and then what's happening in reality, are 100% different than what we thought. So we have to continue to change. So just when I think, oh, I know who Bill is, then you know what happens? God put something in my life that is not in my normal wheelhouse, right? And how do I react to it? That's how I determine my evolution. You know?
Mm. And I think, look, we are in a world, always have been, but particularly now, where things change so quickly on so many levels and so many areas. So to be curious and ask lots of questions, I think, is the way to get through, is the way to adapt if necessary, is the way to work your way forward. So you can't make judgments on things you don't know. You've got to find out first. So asking questions, being curious, helps you get closer to perhaps understanding a tiny little bit what
Right.
goes on, who we are, who you are, who I am. Yeah, it's an ongoing quest. I think that's a good word.
What brings you the most joy in your life?
I love nature. I love to be out in my garden. I've got a vegetable garden. I've got loads of
You and
things.
Lanier.
Yeah, like Linnea. I love my garden. And we had a wonderful, very heavy thunderstorm last night. We have had dry weather here, so bad that all the grass is brown. And I was carrying my buckets of shower water and washing up water down the stairs to, help with watering the garden. And last night was a wonderful thunderstorm. So everything this morning is refreshed and beautiful out there in the garden. It's a real joy to be out there.
I'm trying my best to grow my own food. I've been trying for 3 years, 4 years, and it doesn't work. I live in an iguana infested area. That sounds bad, but basically I live in Southern Florida, and every time something sprouts, an iguana eats it.
Right.
Yeah. I'm jealous of being told that you have this beautiful garden that you walk out with buckets of water on, and kind of that is that your happy place? Is that where you kind of decompress?
Absolutely. I like it, just watching and looking at the plants, listening to the birds and all the other wildlife that's out there. I've got blue-tongued lizards in my garden. Apparently that's a sign of a healthy environment. They like it in a chemical-free environment. I also go for walks out there early in the morning or late in the afternoon, early evening, to just to be out there, quiet, taking it in, enjoying the sounds of nature.
Mm.
It's a happy.
So Australia has been told to be one of the most beautiful, naturally beautiful places in the world. Especially, I believe the snorkeling, scuba diving, stuff like that is fantastic. I've always been afraid of. You guys have critters that are not normal.
What sort of critters are you referring to? The ones that bite you?
Well, I'm talking about spiders the size of your hand that someone told me that some people keep in their house to keep other things out. So it's not, you guys aren't even afraid of this big old spider.
Not really, because they don't come for you or anything. I guess they're just as afraid of us as we are, of some people are of them. So, and snakes, of course. On my morning walk, I might encounter a snake on the path. But
what does encounter a snake mean? Because I would be dead on the ground. Just like it would be Bill and Sigrid walking on a trail, and the next you would just see Sigrid walking by herself, going like, "Where's Bill? Why is he on the ground?"
I remember a long time back when I sort of was fairly new here, I put my first compost into my garden, and I didn't really know much about the snakes. And one day I'm putting something into that compost, and there's this green snake hanging down out of the tree above the compost. And I was just curious, and I walked away from it. And later on, people told me, yeah, green snakes, they are quite common here in the suburbs. The thing is, the more suburbs develop, like anywhere, the more those critters move out. They haven't got a space there. So I feel, in a way, very interested that that snake chose to come and hang above my compost. It must have been something it liked. So why not? Live and let live, I think, is a big thing.
I 100% agree with you. Again, I'm going to say this with the utmost clarity and confidence. If I had looked up and there was a green snake hanging over my head, I again would be dead. The fact that you were able to calmly walk away shows the difference between Sigrid and Bill. You know, no.
I think it's just part of life and part of nature, and we are part of it all. So we all have a place in there. And yes, I think sometimes, I wonder if there's more that I could do, that we as such could do to live together with wildlife, to live in our suburbs, with making space for those birds and other animals that are around. Of course, we are afraid of them. And yes, of course, they can hurt us. And yes, they are poisonous, some of them. But, and talk about spiders. Sure, I've had big spiders in the house, but I don't know, they just run away, I guess. When you make a tap on the wall, and if they sit up the top there, they run away very quickly. So again, I don't feel threatened by them, I think.
And you shouldn't. I believe most of the time when we're afraid of something, it's out of our own ignorance. It's because we haven't been put in an environment with them, or in that environment. I guess if you have to deal with it every day, it becomes like second nature. You're not even thinking about it anymore.
Could be too, Bill, that, some people have got perhaps traumatic experiences from earlier in life. I mean, I grew up in the country on the other side of the world, in the Northern Hemisphere. So I didn't grow up here in Australia. But in the country, it was natural that
in what country?
In Germany.
Germany. Okay. All right.
And my grandmother was a garden fan. She actually grew all of our food for self-consumption in quite a large garden. She did it all by hand in those days, without the fantastic technical gadgets that we have these days to dig the garden over and so on, to culture it. And from her, I've always learned that all life is precious, and you just appreciate it, whatever it is, whether it's a spider or a snake or a worm, whatever. So some people might have bad experiences earlier in life, and that can, of course, carry through life. And so that's when fears and that type of approach to spiders and snakes and whatever might occur. I don't know. That's just my assumption. I could be wrong there, but that's what I'm thinking. If you've had good experiences, maybe you can feel more positive and approaching wildlife and life.
So what do you do? And professionally, yeah. Let's start there. Professionally, what do you do?
What I'm doing professionally right now is I have started to create global business networking live online, a very different approach to networking. We are in this age where we have so much technology, and with AI coming in and some people feeling it's taking over and we're all going to be replaced by it, I feel that as humans, we are still there and we have a place. And a good place to get together and show that we are real and people is networking. So networking for the purpose of getting to know people from right across the world. So we get to know other cultures, other ways of doing things, doing business, dealing with things, connecting and referring to each other business, each area in the different countries and the economic climate is very movable, very changeable. So I want to connect with people who are interested in doing business across the world. Networking is a really great way of doing that, keeps us as people. And you can always connect on a personal level like we are doing now. When you're talking to somebody online, you can get to know them more and more. So networking is where I am right now. And there is the element of online expos, so exhibitions in the online world as well. And networking is a component of that as well. So I've got exhibitors online, and we do live sessions where we not only do presentations and mini workshops, but we also do networking there.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing now. Yeah.
And how did you come up with that?
That's a great question. So the journey's been pretty, I think it's always been around marketing and being visible in the world when you're in business. Way back when I first started professionally, I trained as a photographer back in Germany. The visual, I've always liked that. I got into being a PR and marketing photographer in those days. And from then on, that whole area of marketing, being visible, being connected to business, people in business, has kind of been the thread throughout. And I've done networking since I had my first business here in Australia, which showed me how powerful it is when people that you know recommend you. And you can really make a difference in that way, more so than any other advertising type. So when somebody gets to know you, you really, you really can get referred and get business on a more personal level. And that's really where this is taking me now with the networking. So, yeah, it's been a long path. Interesting, always to do with marketing, being visible, connecting with other people, getting to know who's in the world and what's going on in the world.
So that has to be one of the most difficult jobs there that you could have chosen in this period, because the way that we market has shifted from TV commercial, from magazine ads. Remember, we used to put perfume on our little hands and stuff. From magazine ads to television ads to now it's all digital. Now it's all social media. How have you managed to pivot throughout the pivotation of the marketing landscape? Pivotation is not a real word. I made it up.
You've just made it up. It's a new word. Look, I think it probably comes down to my inquisitive spirit that I'm always asking questions. So at every stage, I was asking, okay, what's next? Why this? What's happening here? How can I do something in this area or in this direction? And that's probably how I've always pivoted into whatever was going on. So I usually, and I'm just thinking, I got up early this morning, but I didn't put my little props here. What I usually do is I show a glue stick and a pair of scissors, and I say I've been in marketing since the days we used real glue and scissors for cut and paste, talking about ads. That's exactly where I started. You know, we had to cut everything up and glue it on for the ads in the magazines, and it's just kind of happened. It feels like it happened naturally to move in different directions. When I did my marketing agency, Sticky Big Marketing, it was important to me to find out what businesses wanted. So first I was doing everything, social media, websites, ads, all sorts of things. And then as each area became deeper and more intricate and more got into it, I made sure that I would look at what I liked the most and stay with that area. So websites was very interesting. The techie part of it, I was curious about. SEO I did for a while. And then I slipped into book writing. I've written 4 different books, each one at a different time in my business life for a particular business area. I've used them to help me grow the business at the time. And then I helped others in business to write a book. I did that for a while. And then naturally, I've moved across to the Expos, the online Expos. When I discovered what that was all about, I thought something different, something new, bringing people together in a different way. And then naturally, the people that came to my expo, the exhibitors, were really interested in talking to each other, in connecting and networking with each other. And I thought, let's do some networking as my next direction. So
Yeah.
it flows.
How did you survive 2020? Did it help your online marketing business or online networking business because they couldn't get out and network, so they actually drove more business to you? Or kind of walk me through that.
At that time, Bill, I was actually doing the book writing, publishing and marketing very much. And what I noticed there, a lot of people wanted to write a book. They had all this time, and doing that online, of course, was really, really great. But what also happened was a lot of people jumped into the market without any knowledge around writing, around what a book's purpose needs to be successful, what you can write about that really makes a difference to the world. And publishing, everybody started to be a publisher. So the market got extremely crowded at that time. And I think that's also part of why I thought, it's too crowded in that market. I'll move into a bit of a different direction. And the networking came on the horizon, the expos and the networking came on the horizon. So the time itself, it was very interesting. I don't have any hard feelings about it. I was still able to walk around my garden, get my fresh air in every day. It was perfect. And I thought it was just something that we had to do, and we got through it. So, but on a professional level, yes, I think it got very crowded in the market that I was in at the time. And so it was natural. Yeah.
So you didn't reap so you didn't reap a benefit from the shutdown, meaning because people couldn't go to networking events, that there was an increased drive to your online events.
No, I wasn't doing the networking at that time.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. If you want to talk a little bit more about networking, what's really interesting is we're on, both you and I are on LinkedIn a lot as a main platform where we, talk with others, talk to each other, and put our expertise, our what we're thinking about out there. And I would have thought that people are on LinkedIn to do networking, whether that is individually, messaging each other, or whether that is the type that I'm doing, which is live online. There is, they're holding themselves back is what I'm feeling at the moment. Some people come on, but they sort of can't quite grasp the opportunity that is given to us by being live and networking online. So that's an interesting experience. Maybe that's just how I see it at the moment.
Right. Have you ever done a webinar live networking event? I'm sure you have.
A webinar live, yes.
Yeah, networking event, meaning taking what you do every day and just kind of throw it out there as a webinar.
I do that networking live. So on Wednesday, I have two live networking webinars,
Right.
if you'd like to call it that. So in my time, the first one is my time, 8 a.m. So for you on your side of the world, that is in the afternoon, still on Tuesday. And the second one is my 5 p.m., which is a good time for people on the European side, UK, Europe, because for them it is first thing in the morning, like I think 8 or 9 a.m. with the time changes. I'm not 100% up on it. So those two are live webinar events where you come into the Zoom with me. We go live into LinkedIn. And you can then introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, what you're looking for. And then what we do is, instead of just chit chat as such, we actually have a guided discussion. I come up with a topic that everybody can contribute to. And in that, keep showing their expertise around what they do and the topic that we discuss. So to really open up, and all of that is live, so anybody can watch that. You can watch the replay later on. And after a while, when we have exhausted the topic, then we'll go off live and continue networking in the Zoom. So that's a really exciting live opportunity, I think, and people like that.
So I went to one of those, I believe.
You did.
Yeah, I went to one, and it's the live is actually the first 15 minutes, and then the rest of it's private. Am I right about that?
Yes. How long it is depends how many people we have in the room. Correct.
Got it. What do you think is missing right now?
More people.
More people?
More people. What do you think it's missing?
Ooh, understanding.
Understanding of
Mhm.
what it is.
Understanding of each other. I think that that's missing. I don't ask me a question. I'll give you an answer.
I think, okay, you've really tapped into something. Understanding. That is really probably one of the core elements why I like to connect with people across the world, because if we don't get to know other people, other cultures, other countries, how they do things, what they do, then we can't have an understanding for each other. We can't have an understanding of business. We can't have an understanding of what each person likes, why they like different things. Understanding is definitely a huge component of life as a whole, to understand why things are different in different places. So if you think that's missing, I would interpret that as we need more of it. We need more people into it so that they learn to understand one another, each other.
That's why I created my podcast, UBU Live, which basically means we're never gonna 100% completely agree. None of us will, because we grew up differently. We saw different things. We have different traumas. Um, so no one's gonna completely agree with everyone. Um, but through UBU, we can have a conversation and say, all right, I still love you, but I think what you're saying is stupid. It's and you have to say it with some type of uh jest, because it at some point, I think the conversations that we have, when it's over, right? You know when you're knocking on an empty door, no one's home, right? So at a certain point, one of us has to give up. So for me, I always like to just back out. All right. You be you. I understand how you feel now and why you feel that way. I agree with you to this point, right? But here's where we differ. And it doesn't have to connect for me to still love you.
That's why we're all unique, isn't it? Otherwise, we'd all be exactly the same. We are unique so that we can differ and be different and ultimately still agree somewhere, or at least live and let live.
So you have this question right here.
Can anyone join Global Business Networking online? Is that the question?
That is the question.
Anyone can join it, certainly. It is, you can easily find it on my LinkedIn profile. There should be 2 event times. So pick the one that's right for you, register, and you'll get the details as soon as I get back into LinkedIn.
Are you able to put that into the notes or not?
Sure.
All right. And I think this is a great question.
Well, I think to get noticed globally, you certainly need to play in the global field. So, global networking, live online networking is one part of that. Otherwise, connect with people on a global level. LinkedIn is probably at the moment the one platform that I understand really gives us the opportunity to do that. We are all, generally speaking, on LinkedIn for business, or as an employee, obviously that direction. But in business, you are there to connect with other people in business. So you can do that firstly by making new connections with a message to say why you want to connect with a person, and then you can take it into personal messaging, direct messaging, and start a conversation. And if you want to be more openly out there, then do your lives. LinkedIn still announces the lives. When someone does one, it goes through the feed. And what I realized last time I did the networking events, some new people came in and they said they were just searching for networking on LinkedIn, and mine popped up straight away. So if you want to be visible, step out onto the stage and go live and connect with people to be seen.
Good answer. What's one mistake people make when trying to network globally?
I think the biggest mistake is that people expect, I'm going to go there and everybody in the room is going to buy from me right away. Well, you have no connection yet. You don't know the people yet. How can you trust them? And I think there was a question earlier about credibility. How does that lead to profitability? Well, the credibility comes from the trust factor. You and I trust each other, Bill. We got to know each other. If we are brand new and don't know each other yet, we haven't spoken, you've only seen words on the page, perhaps that's very different. So you need to get to know the people. And when you are networking, whether that is in the room somewhere where you can see the person, or whether that is in the global virtual room, you need to get to know them a little bit deeper. So that first time doesn't mean you're going to straight away get them as a client. And it's not about the person in the room to be your client. It could be their entire network. I always like to tell the story. When I was doing networking on the ground in another business I had, the whole room, we got a new person into the membership of that particular network, and she wasn't the business owner. So the room didn't really want to connect with her. Oh, she's not the business owner. It's not that important. I made the time to speak with her, and her network was incredible. She had 5 referrals for me in just that one conversation. It's never just the person in the room.
Right. Excellent. I am trying to go international. Woohoo! So let me tell you what my plan is, right? So what I've started doing on LinkedIn, first of all, I am pulling away from LinkedIn slowly, because I have a decent following there, but it's not growing the way it used to. And so that's why I'm doing the Substack and the YouTube and the Facebook and TikToks. So I'm not giving up on LinkedIn. I have a great following, but through age and experience, I have learned don't put everything in one place, and um, that led me to answer John's question. Uh, what's the one piece of advice you give to new entrepreneurs starting out? And the one advice, if it's only one, is not to put all your eggs in one basket. That would be the one off the top of my head because I just said it and it made me think about you. But I would also say never give up. Keep focused on the prize, on the end goal. And what will occur, and the reason why I say that is because when you're in startup mode, there are all sorts of things that are getting thrown at you, and you're going to get through it. You're going to have to have a gap loan, a bridge loan, whatever they call it. To get you from one payroll to the next. I mean, and all of a sudden, throughout all that hard work, it just finally just opens up for you, and your world just changes. But you also need to be grounded in reality and understand that you are not that startup, and that startup is not you. You need to be grounded in reality that things can change in a moment. So you need to remember why you started this journey to begin with. What's your why? Because when you're in the middle of it, John, and everything's swirling around you, you tend to forget because you're just there putting out fires that you never expected. Because why? Because you're a startup guy. So this has never been done before. So there is no blueprint for what you're doing. Enjoy every moment of the startup ride and make sure that every single person on your team recognizes that you recognize that you would not be where you are without the backup of the support of the team behind you. Every step of the way, every moment, because those guys, if you are in startup mode, are sacrificing right now. They can make more someplace else. They believe in you, believe in the product. So, what I would also say finally is remember to give back because they have lifted you up. So, when time comes and that buyout occurs, because both Sigrid and I are wishing that you become the next billionaire, right? So, we're putting that out there for you, John. That you just don't take it and run. You recognize that it was Peggy in the corner that helped, do your bucks and push you up. What about
I
you,
love
Sigrid?
that. I love that. That's absolutely fantastic what you've just said. I totally agree with that. It's creating those relationships and valuing those ongoing. Absolutely.
So Kinga gave me a compliment, first time ever. Woohoo! Um, so, uh, what? How could you help me?
How could I help you?
Mhm.
By staying connected and coming up with other live event ideas where we can further dig into various topics. You have a fantastic audience here that I'm seeing with some really interesting questions, and there seems to be a lot of topics in those questions that you could explore, that we could explore together. Now, while LinkedIn is my main platform, I do also like YouTube, as you do, and you have a very large following. But we could add my following to it by doing other combined events where we set a particular topic. Now, I know you like this one to go whichever way it takes at the time, which is great, which is really good. And it opens up so many areas. As I say, you had some really great comments here.
So let me make this commitment to you right now. I will do another live with you on any topic that you want to discuss, and I will take the back seat, but I will schedule everything.
Oh, fantastic. Let's do that.
So you will come up with the topics, and it cannot be Sunday at 4. Sunday at 4, that's my UBU live. That's this show right here. This format will always be the same. Yours could be Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I wouldn't do Friday. But any of those days, and we can do once a month or once every 2 weeks. And we can make the topic very specific.
Mhm.
You will come up with a topic. I'll come up with all the marketing and the invites and everything. You're the topic person, and we can ask people if they want to join us on stage. And it could just be UBU live. Ask Bill and Sigrid, because we're getting a ton of great questions.
That's right.
Look at this.
That's a great deal. Look there. I think, like I said, there's been some fantastic ideas for topics here this morning or today coming through in the comments there. So there's lots to choose from. And as you say, we can always ask for what people would like to talk about. Right.
And so what I'm just putting this out there. What I would like is to have my UBU live is my network. But then I also have UBU live cousin talk special edition. Like Lanier's always on UBU live special edition. So, we'll just come up with the show and just do it. Totally different. And the reason why I say you choose a topic and I'll follow your lead is because I'm very much into me not always knowing 100% what people need to hear about or talk about. And the reason why this is a great idea is because you and I don't think the same. So because we don't think the same, you're going to come up with a topic that I would never have considered. Never. And let's do it.
That makes it so interesting. Now, I usually like to do my lives on my Wednesday, which is your Tuesday afternoon. So perhaps something around that. We can talk about that. But topics, yes, there are lots of topics, I think. And I'm going to have a look at the comments that we've had here to pick the first one out from there. I shall let you know, Bill. Sounds really exciting.
And everyone here is saying that sounds exciting too. And guys, that's the whole point of UBU Live is not only this is the first time Sigrid and I have had a conversation, and I say that and you're like, no, it's not, but it actually is. Sigrid and I are in groups together, and we've had conversations within a group that we're a part of. And we've had maybe a couple of emails go back and forth, but we've never sat down for 45 minutes and just had a conversation. And because we did not have an outline, which Sigrid's show will, we just came up with a collaboration idea that we never would have came up if we had stuck to a script.
This is one thing that I also do or don't do, whichever way you want to look at it. So when I do interviews, I did a series of interviews last year, which was women of expertise, for example, and women would ask me, what are we going to talk about? What are you asking me? And I would say, I will ask you a question, whatever your answer is, I will take the next question. So I'm not giving you any topic. I'm not giving you exactly the questions I'll ask because I don't know yet. It depends on how you answer. So
Yeah.
I think on that level, we are very much aligned, and that makes it so interesting to just go with the flow and take it from whatever the answer is to go into the next direction.
I get scared every time too, because I'm like, am I gonna I did it. I'm worse as the guest than I am as the host. Because as the host, when I screw up, I can just divert the conversation in any way that I want, and no one knows the difference. But when I'm the guest and I'm like fumbling, and the host doesn't recognize that I'm like fumbling, and like, take the ball, coach, take the ball. I'm sitting out here, I'm drowning. So anyway.
I think that's a really important point when you are whoever is a host of something, that you really have to be open and stay focused on the answer of your guest and take it in a different direction. If you can feel or see or hear that your guest, that's not their area of expertise or that's not what they want to talk about, I usually, when I have a guest, I make sure that they know their topic so that they can talk about it, and they've talked about it before. But interestingly, sometimes even an experienced person experienced on whatever their topic is, they get quite nervous in a live situation. So yes, as a host, you really have to go with the flow, and you've got to put, I call it feel, because for me it's feel. It could be watch out, whatever you call it. I get that feel. Is this person comfortable? Am I going to say more about this topic, or will I go in a different direction? I think that's quite important, to be that way inclined as a host.
One area where I need to fix is there's so much going on. You're doing Zoom, right? And then and then live. So I don't know if you've done the StreamYard thing, but StreamYard has comments on this side, and it has media banners, and it has these assets, and everything's popping up, right? And I'm trying to keep my attention on my guest. But then someone says, oh, we can't get on LinkedIn. And what occurs, because you're trying to multitask.
Yeah.
But whenever you're listening to someone, you're supposed to give them your undivided attention. And then I end up feeling bad because I just got sidetracked. How do I tell you that I didn't hear the last thing that you just said because someone told me that, nothing's coming through on LinkedIn? How do you keep yourself on track?
Well, if you really didn't hear something, I mean, you can always say, say that again. Let me really take it in, because you just didn't hear it or you weren't paying attention. You could, go down that track. But I acknowledge that I have not used, I've used StreamYard a very, very long time ago. I use Zoom, but the same situation happens there. When you use Zoom and you go live into LinkedIn through Zoom, you're not catching all of the comments. You really need another person to do that for you. I'd say similarly to what you've got here. There's a lot going on. You're trying to look at what are the people commenting at the same time as keeping the conversation going. So it's not that easy. It probably is better to have someone else who can help monitor that. But when you're in the middle of a conversation, I can't say it's happened to me yet, that I completely lost track of what the person said, but I would think of saying, you have to say that again because that was just different or important, or something like that. Never defeat, just keep going.
So it was so funny because I the other day I just kept having brain farts, right? Like the person would ask me questions, and I was like, I could not answer it. We all do this, right? After the call or after whatever, we all, oh, I could have said this, I could have
Yes,
said
you could have
this, I
said
could have said
that.
that. With all these answers, and in the moment I couldn't find it, and I was just like, bro, just don't ask any
something
more questions.
something something that still happens to me, Bill, is even though I have been in this English speaking country for 40 years, 40, so I
Okay.
should know it inside out. I do have moments, and they could be moments of fear, perhaps, that I'm not recognizing at the time. I cannot think of something to say to respond. It sits in here, but it sits there in German, and you can't use it in an English speaking interview or conversation. So
You know,
it does happen. It does
it
happen.
does. Do you talk to yourself in your head?
Absolutely.
Okay. So then what happens is I start spiraling, right? So what happens is then I'm sitting there thinking I sound like I can't remember my name, which makes it sound like I'm suffering from early stage dementia. So all this is going on while I can't find a word, right? so,
Yeah.
so it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And I'm looking at the host like, oh please just go to commercial. Like just go to commercial. Um so I'm excited. I have a couple ideas that I've been wanting to throw around. Uh I don't know if you're game for it or not. And yeah, so that's it. So ladies and gentlemen, Sigrid and I are gonna have a show. She's gonna tell me what day and time. I just show up. And the topics will be it'll be everything professional. Um, but it could be everything professional as it pertains to your personal life. So how is that job, affecting your 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 family life? Are you fulfilled? Are you just doing it because you're supposed to? What is your dream? Are you living it? And then how do we get there? See, all these are great conversations that people don't want to talk about. Everyone's like, "Oh, everything's great. My life is fine."
Mm.
And you are exactly where you're supposed to be in this moment. Uh, but we, the collective we, all need to understand the lessons we're supposed to learn. Why are we repeatedly put in the same situation? So I want to kind of get through these types of issues to help us kind of become better people and let you know, not Sigrid, but you out there in the audience, know that you're not alone, that we all suffer. We all have challenges. We all talk to ourselves in our head and then go, oh my God, I'm sounding crazy. And then you sound crazier.
Yes, and then later on, you really beat yourself. I really beat myself up. I wish I
I
didn't say
gotta stop it.
it. Yes.
I
Yes.
got to stop it. I really have got to stop it. I am my worst critic. And so that's great because if I'm my worst critic, then my biggest fear I've already thought about, right? I've already considered it. I've already survived it. So what are you afraid of? March on, my little friend. March on.
What am I afraid of? I'm afraid of, yes, well, not being clear in my head anymore as I move into the next stage, further stage of life. I think that's been a big fear of my whole life, because when I saw my grandmother losing her thinking, I think that's really shaped my whole time from then on in. So I do all I can to be as active and as healthy and as interested in trying out new things as I possibly can. Now I'm not feeling very good. I'm starting to be on very thin ice here in talking about something that I'm fearing. That's not something I like to talk about, Bill.
Okay. I'm sorry.
That's not to say I'm not doing it. I'm doing it right now. But that is, that is something I think for me fearful to think down that track. So I feel at the moment I am really good and I'm doing my very best to stay my best.
One thing that you want people to remember about you.
I didn't quite hear that. I'm sorry.
Oh, very good. So that's you weren't listening to me.
I wasn't listening.
That was okay. So now I actually have seen it in motion. So now I know how to use it. What's the one thing you want people to remember about you?
That I'm approachable. Just come and ask me. I'm approachable. Ask me whatever and I will respond.
See. So anyway, guys, we're going to have to wrap it up because I can talk to Sigrid for hours and hours and hours. But every question leads to another question. So obviously you think that you're not approachable. You've been told that before?
I have always been told that I certainly help people with the knowledge that I have to give them more information so that they can move forward. Yes.
Okay. But about being unapproachable.
Okay, I think that is my thinking around that. I've been told that I'm very correct and things need to be in a certain way. And what's the word? I can't think of the word. I'm very.
Is that meticulous? Is that true?
I like systemization and processes, and yes, I like things a certain way because it makes me feel in control. Perhaps that's what it is, so that I can predictability. So perhaps that comes across as unapproachable. I don't feel that way, but yeah. So you're right.
What happens when things aren't the way that Sigrid wants them to be? She's like, what does that mean?
What happens when things aren't the way I want them to be? It feels uneasy, and I have to find the ground. I have to find where can I step next so that I'm not going to fall over, I guess, is a good description of it. I like to have a certain amount of certainty, not necessarily of the outcome as such, but how to step forward or where to step. That's how I interpret it in my own.
So you're very much a data-driven person.
Yes.
So there's two different categories, right? So and I fit in either one, but there are times where I have to say, go ahead and release, because this is as good as we're going to get, and then we'll apply updates.
Yeah. Okay, so my experience has been, I know there's this thing out there, particularly for, new to business entrepreneurs, just put it out there and then adjust as you go. That's great in my experience. And I've just had that recently with something, just put it out there, get started. What happens is I have to do it 2 or 3 times to get it to where I want it. So why not do it right in the first place? That's how I look at it.
Well, there's I don't think that there's a wrong answer, and I will be honest with you. I probably have normally played in the same the sandbox as you did, right?
Yeah.
Why do it 3 times when you could just do it once, right? However, when you're looking at a global operation, every moment you don't put out that new release, you're paying for engineers, you're paying for this, you're paying for this, you're paying for this. You've already done all the new ad, your marketing. You've already done all the new ad markups. They're just waiting for the product to roll out. It's
Yeah,
at some point you got to say, let's go. Anyway,
absolutely.
so any day, Tuesdays are good for me, which are Wednesdays for you. This time is good for me,
Yes.
so I can go 5 o'clock instead of 4, so you can get some sleep. Because when you yelled at me this morning, I started crying.
No, I love it. It's beautiful at this time of the morning. 4:30, getting up in the summertime is beautiful. It's our summertime.
Oh, is it? Okay. How big is Australia? It's an island, so it's not
It's
like.
big.
Is
Yeah,
it?
you can't. Yeah, it's big. I think you can fit that. There have been maps out there somewhere on social media where they fit all of Europe and more into Australia. So,
Oh, really?
mm,
Yeah, I've been told a lot of our maps are off. Like Africa is bigger than it's like I think all the countries can fit into Africa. So anyway,
yes,
and
yeah.
what's it like living in Australia, being so far away from everything else? And how's Martin?
I've always liked Australia because of the climate, but then you do have different climates in different regions because it is so large. You have got diversity here. People from all over the world have come here to live here. We have problems like everywhere else. I have always liked the generally open attitude of people compared to where my country of origin has been much more closed in thinking, in my thinking and my experience. And I don't know Martin personally. I have to get to know him yet. There's a connection I have to make.
You do need to get to know him better, because I don't know why. I just think Australia, like everyone knows each other. So I guess it's a big country. Any questions for me?
I think you've done an excellent job in how you're conducting this You Be You with your questions. You've kept it really interesting. And I think anyone that you invite on here should be feeling really privileged to be asked questions by you.
You're so full of it. But I'm gonna take it because I need that uplift. So
Yes.
everybody on Sunday, remember that's the day you rejuvenate, you replenish, you get yourself out there. Why aren't you on Substack?
Because it's another area to be on. I've been working on which way to go. At the moment, I've moved away from Facebook more or less. I've got a bit there that I'm still doing. I've moved into YouTube more, but I'm not fully versed on it yet. And through my research around what's happening with being visible, being seen, to go back to my post writing on my own website is something. So Substack could be the next thing. I haven't looked into it yet, Bill.
Okay. So I'm new to it. I have less than 100 subscribers. I've only been on for like 2 months. I have seen a huge increase in my YouTube volume, not my Substack. But
Right.
the only difference with my YouTube volume is that I joined Substack. So you being a data person, you can say, all right, in the past 60 days, what have I done different? And so the only thing I've done different is I have Substack that creates shorts for me, and then those shorts go onto YouTube.
Yeah.
And it also does this crazy thing, which is it sends my podcast over to Spotify and over to Apple Podcasts, as well as now it's starting to send things back to LinkedIn. The reason why I love it, and I'm sure that there's other things out there, but I love it because it's what a lot of our media companies have, our corporate media companies who have corporate interests have let go of a lot of journalists that have alternate views. And so they've gone to Substack.
Right.
So I've watched them launch their Substack and watch them go from like 0 to like 1 million users. Now, these are people that have great followings. These are people that were brand names on their own. But it also let me know that Substack is still fresh enough that it's not oversaturated with people. So you have more of an opportunity to make a connection. And then the final thing is, because it puts everything that I post onto all my social media platforms, I'm not posting in 10 different places.
I think I've always looked at the whole landscape, the social media online landscape, in terms of where is the best place for me to put what I want to say. So in doing that, I have not looked at Substack yet. I have to admit, I've heard of it, and it's something to explore. So now that you have made the case for it, let me take a look at it.
What do you want to say?
Right now, with my direction of networking and bringing people together from various global countries, it is about saying that let's get together, let's chat, let's network.
Okay. All right. Perfect.
And how to do it well. And I want to share just now, there were a couple of questions there earlier, so anybody can jump in on the networking, live networking that I'm doing, the business networking. As I said, the events are on my LinkedIn profile, easy to find. And the expo, the next expo, somebody asked about that earlier, if I can throw that in quickly, Bill. Come as a visitor. Just look out for me putting the visitor invitation out there. Come as a expo visitor. It's going to be in November, mid-November, and you can come as a visitor and have a look at what that's like online. Thanks for that.
Thanks for what?
Ad spot. For that ad spot.
Of course. Yeah. So this is going to be great. When do you think you want to get together? Actually, do you want to hang up on this live so we can talk?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right, guys. Sorry about this. I know that you loved it. Oh, it's gonna take 3 minutes for the outro. All right. If you want to go run, come back. It'll be 3 minutes for the outro.
I'm fine.
Bye, guys.
Welcome to you. Welcome to you, yeah. Step right up, come see the show. Welcome to you, be you loud. No, do da 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 do da. Do da 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 do da.
Yeah. Magic in motion, so on display. You be you live, starts today. Come feel the rhythm, come catch the vibe. Young man, you there, wanna come inside.
Welcome to you.
of ending my week Friday night with the amazing soulman live. It was an experience so unique, so different that I still can't describe how deeply it moved me. I am someone who's never been celebrated, and for that, soul man, I thank you. But tonight, we're not ending our week, we're beginning our week. It's Sunday, it's 4 p.m. It's time to wind down and lift up. Tonight is not about soul man, that's a lifestyle. Tonight we travel a journey you'll never forget. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Sigrid de Kaste.
If it's alive, you don't strive, don't lie, don't fight, you ride, you be you like you're alive. Come alive, come alive. We don't change trends, we bring it alive. Living on the
We bend the rules like we bend the light. Turn the spark in our hearts to a flame on sight. Sigrid de Kaste got that soulful flair. William Rochelle, call and Bill if you dare. Real ones rise when the fake ones fade. We ain't waiting for a lane, we pay